It started when Yellowstone began building its first hotels to accommodate park visitors. Hotel garbage was disposed of in open pits nearby. It wasn't long before bears discovered the refuse. By 1889, black bears were gathering in the evening at the heaps of garbage. At the same time, tourists began gathering at the dumps to watch the bears. A nice arrangement began. Bears learned that man was a source of food through his garbage, and man learned that garbage attracted bears and bears were fun to watch. In 1903, President Theodore Teddy Roosevelt was on vacation and visited Yellowstone to see the bears. The year before, Roosevelt, an avid sportsman, was hunting in Mississippi. During that trip, he encountered a small black bear which he refused to shoot. The episode of the young bear being spared by the president's rifle inspired the teddy bear, one of America's most loved toys. By the 1920s, bear feeding had become a major Yellowstone attraction. About 10,000 people came to Yellowstone between 1872 and 1882. By 1929, Yellowstone had up to 260,000 visitors per year. A lot more visitors meant a lot more garbage, and more garbage meant more bears. On a good night in the 1920s, you could sit in the stands at the Old Faithful bear feeding grounds and see as many as 50 to 70 black and grizzly bears. Bears sorted through the garbage strewn about on wooden platforms. A National Park Service ranger, mounted on a horse, spoke to the crowd about the bears. As traffic increased in Yellowstone, bears discovered a new way to get food: beg for it. During the 1920s, bears waited for handouts along park roads. Visitors to the park during the 1950s and 1960s remember regularly seeing 30 or more bears along park roads begging for food. Sometimes a bear jam would back up traffic as tourists waited for a chance to see and feed the bears. Yellowstone visitors went to great lengths to photograph their children with black bears. Children were told to stand by the bear, and sometimes were even slathered in honey and jelly so the bear could be photographed licking it off. Kids were even plonked on a bear's back and asked to smile for the camera. With humans in such close contact with these wild creatures, bear-caused injuries increased. Yellowstone National Park recorded that bears injured an average of 48 people a year during the period of 1931 to 1959. Bears don't know where the candy bar ends and a hand begins. In 1960, the park began efforts to reduce garbage sources and handouts of food from visitors. But it wasn't until 1970 that Yellowstone declared it was eliminating all sources of human food and garbage in the park. Biologists and park officials agreed that offering human food to bears was dangerous and unhealthy for the bears as well as people. The goal of the program was to restore both black and grizzly bears to a diet of natural food. Since 1983, bear-caused human injuries have declined to an average of 1 per year. When you go to Yellowstone or Yosemite, or the Great Smoky Mountains, or any of the other national parks these days, you don't feed the bears, they feed themselves. Though bears are protected in places like Yellowstone, there are many places where bears have no protection. Right now, somewhere in the United States, a bulldozer is flattening a section of forest. The trees will be cleared, a foundation poured, and a house will rise. The forest that was destroyed was not empty. A bear lived there. The forest was the bear's home, and when the family barbecues and leaves corn cobs, half-eaten hamburger rolls, and bits of apple pie in the garbage, a bear may visit. It may spill the trash and finish the barbecue. Right now, somewhere in the United States, a homeowner living on the edge of a large forest is filling a bird feeder with sunflower seeds. Sometime after dark, while the family sleeps, a black bear may come and pull apart the bird feeder and eat the seeds. People need to become smarter about living with black bears. When people build their homes in bear country or feed birds where bears live, bears may become a nuisance. Bears think a lot about eating. Tie down or put away the trash cans. Don't feed the birds in the summer if bears come calling for birdseed. Outsmart them.